A former Navy SEAL kneels in a gleaming boardroom, his 6-year-old daughter in one arm, a ring box in the other. The billionaire CEO freezes mid-presentation. The board members gasp. "Will you marry us?" he asks. How did a single dad protecting a stranger lead to this moment? Before we dive in, comment where in the world you are watching from and don't forget to click subscribe. The glass door to the executive boardroom rattled as Marcus Kane pushed through, his 6-year-old daughter Lily clutching his hand. He'd promised to be quick, just dropping off the security assessment folder his friend Tom had forgotten, but the scene inside froze his blood. A man in an expensive suit had cornered a woman against the conference table, his hand gripping her wrist as she tried to push him away. Years of SEAL training kicked in before conscious thought. "Hands off her," Marcus growled, his voice carrying the authority of countless missions. The man spun around, his face flushed with entitlement and alcohol. "This is a private meeting. Security can wait outside." Marcus set Lily gently behind him, his body shifting into a stance that had served him in Afghanistan. "I said let her go." Now, the woman, Victoria Sterling, CEO of Sterling Industries, had faced hostile takeovers and billion-dollar negotiations. But nothing had prepared her for Richard Blackstone's drunken advance after the board meeting. She'd stayed late to review contracts, thinking the building was empty except for security. Then Richard had returned, bourbon on his breath and rage in his eyes over her rejection of his merger proposal. When the stranger appeared, tall and steady with protective fury in his steel blue eyes, relief flooded through her. Richard released her wrist, straightening his tie with shaking hands. "You have no idea who you're dealing with. I'll have you fired." Marcus moved forward, positioning himself between Richard and Victoria. "Former Navy SEAL Team 6. I've faced scarier things than a drunk executive. Leave, now." Something in Marcus's controlled menace penetrated Richard's arrogance. He backed toward the door, muttering threats about lawsuits and consequences. After he left, Marcus turned to Victoria, his demeanor immediately softening. "Are you hurt?" She rubbed her wrist, trying to steady her breathing. "No, I'm fine. Thank you. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't walked in." A small voice piped up from behind Marcus. "Daddy, is the lady okay?" Lily peered around her father's legs, her concern genuine. Victoria's heart melted at the child's worried expression. She knelt down despite her trembling knees. "I'm okay, sweetheart. Your daddy helped me." Marcus lifted Lily into his arms, embarrassment coloring his features. "Sorry about bringing her. Single dad, no sitter tonight. Tom asked me to drop off the security assessment and I thought the building would be empty." Victoria stood, smoothing her skirt. "Tom from IT. You're the security consultant he mentioned?" She studied him more carefully now, noting the quiet confidence, the way he held his daughter with practiced ease. "Marcus Kane. I run Kane Security Solutions. Mostly corporate assessments now, less exciting than my previous work." He shifted Lily to his other arm. "We should go. Let you collect yourself." But Victoria found herself not wanting them to leave. The adrenaline was fading, leaving her shaky and oddly vulnerable. "Actually, would you mind staying for a moment? I should probably document what happened, and a witness would help." Marcus nodded, setting Lily in one of the plush chairs. The little girl immediately pulled out a coloring book from her small backpack. "She's prepared for boring adult stuff," he explained with a fond smile. As Victoria typed up the incident report on her laptop, she found herself stealing glances at this unexpected protector. His presence filled the room with calm stability, so different from the sharks she usually swam with. "You're not what I expected from a security consultant," she admitted. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Not enough clipboard and corporate speak?" A small smile tugged at his lips. "Something like that. Most contractors who come here are trying to impress me with jargon and promises. You just handle things." She saved the document, then really looked at him. "That was incredibly brave what you did. He's a powerful man." Marcus shrugged. "Power's relative. He's welcome to try something. My lawyer's scarier than I am, and she works for homemade cookies." Victoria laughed, surprising herself. "Homemade cookies? Lily makes excellent chocolate chip cookies." My lawyer has a weakness. He glanced at his daughter, who was intensely focused on coloring within the lines. We should really go. It's past bedtime. Victoria made a decision that surprised her. Have you eaten? There's a diner 2 blocks over. Nothing fancy, but good comfort food. Least I can do is buy you both dinner. Marcus hesitated, clearly weighing propriety against his daughter's needs. Lily's stomach chose that moment to growl audibly. Please, Daddy? I'm hungry, and the lady seems nice. Victoria found herself holding her breath, oddly invested in his answer. These two had walked into her carefully controlled world and disrupted everything with their simple warmth. All right, Marcus agreed. But we're going Dutch. This isn't a rescue reward situation. At the diner, Victoria watched Marcus cut Lily's pancakes into perfect triangles while the girl chattered about kindergarten and her best friend Emma. It was surreal, sitting in a vinyl booth after nearly being assaulted, finding comfort in this small family's routine. Mommy's in heaven, Lily announced suddenly, causing Marcus to freeze mid-cut. She went there when I was a baby. But Daddy says she watches us and keeps us safe. Victoria's throat tightened. I'm sure she does, sweetheart. Marcus's jaw worked silently before he spoke. Car accident, 4 years ago. The weight of those words settled between them. I'm sorry, Victoria said softly. It must be incredibly hard, raising her alone. She makes it easier, Marcus replied, ruffling Lily's hair. Kids show you what actually matters. The rest becomes noise. Victoria thought about her empty penthouse, the board meetings that consumed her weekends, the merger proposals that kept her up at night. When had she last had a conversation that wasn't about profit margins? You run a massive company, Marcus observed, not a question, but a recognition. I Googled Sterling Industries while Lily was coloring. You built it from nothing. That's impressive. Victoria stirred her coffee absently. Sometimes I wonder if I built a prison instead of an empire. Tonight before you arrived, I was thinking how none of it mattered if men like Richard still felt entitled to take whatever they wanted. Marcus leaned forward slightly. You matter. Your work matters. Don't let one bad person diminish what you've accomplished. But also, he paused, choosing words carefully, maybe consider that empires can be lonely places. The truth of it hit her unexpectedly. Speaking from experience? Different kind of empire. But yes, after the Navy, after losing Sarah, I tried to build walls around Lily and me. Took 2 years to realize walls keep out good things too. Lily yawned widely, maple syrup on her chin. Marcus cleaned her face with practiced efficiency. We really do need to go. School tomorrow. Victoria pulled out her business card, hesitating before handing it over. If you ever need anything, or if Lily needs emergency cookies for that lawyer. Marcus smiled, the first full smile she'd seen from him. It transformed his face from guardian to genuinely handsome man. Careful, Lily's cookies are legendary. You might get addicted. As they parted outside the diner, Lily tugged on Victoria's blazer. You could come to my soccer game Saturday. Daddy always stands alone. The other parents think he's scary, but he's not. He just forgets to smile sometimes. Marcus's ears reddened. Lily, Miss Sterling is very busy. But Victoria knelt down to Lily's level. What time is the game? Saturday arrived gray and drizzly, but Victoria found herself at the community soccer field. Designer heels sinking into damp grass. Marcus's surprise when he saw her shifted into something warmer, something that made her stomach flutter unexpectedly. You came, he said simply. Lily insisted on bringing extra juice boxes in case you showed up. They stood together watching 6-year-olds chase a ball with more enthusiasm than skill. Other parents gave them curious looks, but Marcus seemed unbothered. This is probably different from your usual Saturday, he commented. Victoria laughed. Usually I'm in board meetings or reviewing contracts. This is better, significantly better. When Lily scored a goal, her first of the season, she immediately looked for them, her face glowing with pride. Victoria found herself cheering as loudly as Marcus, caught up in the child's joy. After the game, muddy and triumphant, Lily grabbed both their hands. Victory pizza! It's tradition. She looked up at Victoria hopefully. You have to come. You're part of the victory now. Over pizza, Victoria's phone buzzed constantly with work calls she didn't answer. Marcus noticed but didn't comment, just kept Lily engaged in discussion about her goal, while Victoria chose to be present in this moment instead of her usual crisis management mode. Richard filed a complaint, she finally admitted. Says I'm fabricating the incident. His word against mine. Marcus's expression hardened. No, his word against ours. I was there. Lily was there. He pulled out his phone, and I might have accidentally hit record when I saw what was happening. Old habit from the field. Victoria stared at him. You recorded it? Audio only, but clear enough. His threats, everything. He met her eyes steadily. I protect people. It's what I do. Something shifted in Victoria's chest, a wall crumbling that she hadn't realized was there. This man, this quiet warrior raising his daughter alone, had protected her without expectation of reward or recognition. Weeks passed, Saturdays becoming their tradition. Soccer games, victory pizza, sometimes quiet dinners while Lily did homework. Victoria learned that Marcus read 3 books a week, that he'd built Lily's treehouse himself, that he still woke from nightmares about missions gone wrong. Marcus discovered Victoria painted in secret, that she'd started her company to prove her father wrong, that she hadn't taken a real vacation in 7 years. The day Richard's lawsuit was dismissed, thanks to Marcus's recording, Victoria invited them to her penthouse to celebrate. Lily's eyes went wide at the floor-to-ceiling windows, the gleaming marble, the obvious wealth. It's like a castle, she whispered. A lonely castle, Victoria admitted, seeing her home through the child's eyes. Empty rooms, pristine furniture that no one ever used, a kitchen that rarely saw real cooking. Marcus found her on the balcony later, after Lily had fallen asleep on the plush sofa. She feels safe here, he said. That's rare for her in new places. You make her feel safe. Victoria turned to face him. You both make me feel safe too. For the first time in years, I don't feel like I'm fighting alone. He moved closer, his hand covering hers on the railing. You're not alone. Not anymore, if you don't want to be. The kiss was gentle, a question more than a statement. Victoria answered by deepening it, pouring months of growing feelings into the contact. When they pulled apart, Marcus rested his forehead against hers. This could be complicated. Different worlds. Single dad, your position. I don't care, Victoria interrupted. I've spent years doing what was expected, what was strategic. You and Lily, you're what's real, what matters. 6 months later, Victoria stood in her boardroom announcing a new initiative for veteran-owned businesses and single-parent support within the company. Marcus watched from the back, Lily beside him wearing a Sterling Industries future CEO t-shirt Victoria had custom-made for her. The company was thriving, Richard Blackstone discredited and gone, and Victoria had learned to delegate, to make time for what mattered. Soccer games, bedtime stories, teaching Lily to paint. Quiet evenings with Marcus after Lily was asleep, planning a future neither had imagined. Daddy, Lily whispered loudly enough for the room to hear, are you going to marry Victoria now? The board members chuckled as Marcus turned red. Victoria grinned from the podium. That's actually an excellent question, Lily. What do you think, Mr. Kane? Marcus stood, lifting Lily into his arms, and walked to the front of the room. I think, he said, pulling out a small velvet box, that Lily's been keeping this secret for 2 weeks, and she's about to explode if I don't ask now. The boardroom erupted in surprised murmurs as Marcus knelt, Lily still in one arm. Victoria Sterling, you turned our small world into something bigger, brighter. Will you marry us? Victoria didn't hesitate, dropping to her knees to embrace them both. Yes, absolutely, yes. As the room applauded, Lily whispered conspiratorially, I told you she'd say yes, Daddy. She always stays for pizza. That's how you know it's real love. And in that gleaming boardroom where months ago violence had threatened, love bloomed instead. 3 broken people had found each other, creating a family not from perfection, but from protection, presence, and the courage to let walls fall. The empire Victoria built became less lonely. The walls Marcus constructed became windows, and Lily got the complete family she'd been secretly drawing in her coloring books, right down to Victoria's smile and her daddy's protective stance, finally relaxed into genuine happiness.